Cool. There was something I needed to look at. Capcom did put out an official statement yesterday, but I was asleep. We gotta grab that. Let's grab Capcom's official statement. You know what I just realized? I didn't even have Twitch open. I usually have Twitch open. I can see my creator dashboard, but I haven't needed to. There we go. Let's put a creator dashboard. Go to Capcom Fighters. I think they put out an official statement about the beta. Oh lord. Oh lord. Capcom Fighters. Oops. Capcom Fighters. Yeah, I think they put out an official statement about the closed beta test. So let's read that. Let's slide that over. You guys want to take a look at that? You guys can see this? The music's gonna stay on. I'm too lazy. I'm loving that shit, right? So it's a pretty simple official statement. And it looks like there's nothing. Like it's all right. We'll just read the statement first before we start talking about what's going on with it. It has come to our attention that some users have been accessing the Street Fighter 6 closed beta test software and playing the game outside of the designated period. This is a violation of the closed beta test terms of service and can be seen as a violation of the Capcom Pro Tour Code of Conduct. For the avoidance of doubt, from this point forward, any player who is shown with clear evidence to be accessing the closed beta test in an unauthorized way may be deemed uneligible for the upcoming Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter League sessions. We appreciate your cooperation and understanding in helping maintain fairness and competitive integrity in our competitions. Okay, so one, there's a big keyword here. I think the big keyword is that it says may be deemed ineligible, right? So this basically just says like, hey, watch your back, buddy. We might come and get you, not we will. Right? This does not stop everyone. This does not immediately put everyone who's been using the closed beta test as a means to practice the game ahead of time or early at risk, right? And it also is super blanket because it says shown clear evidence. Yeah, clear evidence, right? So if you lose to some Jimmy at your locals who has been grinding the crack, but you have no proof that he's been grinding the crack, that guy can still compete in the closed beta test. I mean, that guy can still compete in Capcom Pro Tour and Street Fighter leagues, right? He's not going to be ineligible. I think that this is a blanket statement they put out to like quell people's fears and to like make people feel better, but it doesn't actually do anything. Like, I'm not going to play the closed beta test unauthorized. I don't really care to, right? I got my fill of the beta when it existed. If we got another beta, I would absolutely play it. If we got an open beta or another closed beta or whatever, I would play it. But I don't really want to go out of my way to use the closed beta as a means to, you know, get more game feel. I can use this, right? Because you don't actually need to be playing the character that you want to play to get a sense of game feel, right? I will say, though, that as a competitor, if someone is using the crack, I'm not upset with them. Everyone who's mad about people who are using the crack, you are a competitor. The closest thing I have to like describe, I wish I had a deck that had proxy. I don't. Oh. I go on this website called Gristlebrand or whatever, right? And it lets you do test stands for Magic the Gathering, right? You can do test stands of cards you have, cards you don't have, cards that are just coming out, cards that are pre-release. You can use like any card that is in the Magic the Gathering database, you can literally type it in and you can shuffle it up in a virtual way and play with said card, right? And I do that to test consistency of decks, to see if I need to change the amount of lands I have, to see if like there's enough spells, to see if the mana curve is fucked up, shit like that, right? So in the same way, I could just grab an actual physical deck. And I could just like print out a card that's not out yet, that's in pre-release or whatever, or that just got announced but isn't out yet. I could just print it out, put it in a sleeve, and play test with it to figure out if the card is good in my deck or not. If I should be playing it in 2 of, as a 3 of, as a 1 of, as a 4 of. If I shouldn't be playing it at all. That is normal for competitive-minded players. I actually don't find anything wrong with people who are competitively minded using the crack, right? If you have access to a PC, you have access to the crack. So if you are trying to be competitive, if you are trying to be the best, why make it harder for yourself, right? I think a player by the name of Momochi, one of the Japanese players, put out a tweet saying anyone who's using the crack right now should be banned. Like, should legitimately be banned from Capcom Pro competition. I think that's really awkward. It's really weird because there was only 8 characters in the beta. All 18 characters aren't there, right? So it doesn't really do anything other than give you game feel, which you can also get from this current beta, right? Or this current demo. You can get game feel from the demo. You can play versus mode versus the computer. I think you might also be able to play versus mode offline. I'm not sure. If you can, I might download it on my laptop and take it to locals with me or whatever, right? So that, I mean, we're only going to have Ryu and Luke, but if you're allowed to do so, that also gives me game feel versus another player, and that player game feel versus another player. You don't get to practice all your cool, snappy combos and like do all the labbing and stuff, but a lot of that at the highest level doesn't actually matter. A lot of that just comes from playing the game, and you learn that, or you can like go to YouTube, find a guide for it, and optimize it and make it better because you're a good player. This is like a really poor excuse by Momochi and any other pros who say, I think people who have been playing the crack should get banned. Like, muscle up. You had the game Street Fighter 4 months before everyone because you played in Japanese arcades. You were so far ahead of the rest of the West, of all the West, because we didn't have cabs for Street Fighter 4 everywhere. Right, like when I was a kid, I remember Texas had cabinets for Street Fighter 4 as early as they could get them, Japanese versions of the cabinets. I heard like New York and like the East Coast and parts of California, right, like Southern California. Those places made sure to try to import Japanese cabinets for the game early before the game was even out on console, right? We didn't. I don't think we had an arcade release of the game. We only had the console releases on PS3 and Xbox 360. Right, and I guess 3DS, right? So if that was the case back then, why is it not the case now? If you're a competitor, you take every competitive advantage you can. We literally shipped them from overseas, and Capcom wasn't like, hey, whoa, the game's not officially out for you. You can't do that. Whoa, stop it. Like, just let us play. Right? I mean, sure, there was significantly less money on the line or whatever, but I think as a competitor, you should take every competitive advantage you can. What up, Jess? How you doing? There's no reason to, like, stifle the growth of people who want to become better at your game. That's like saying the people who break Street Date are going to be the best in the game, right? This kind of statement like kind of reads like, we're afraid the people who have the game early are going to be significantly better than everyone for a large chunk of the game, and that's just not true. Usually when people have the game early, they're only good or only discover things before other players for the first month or so, right? Like, I think people have been grinding the crack, people have been grinding the closed beta tests for Street Fighter 6 unauthorized, are going to do very well at like the first tournaments that exist for this game. Something like Combo Breaker. Not Combo Breaker, CEO. CEO is going to be like, I think the first month of the game. CEO is usually in June. The game comes out like June 2nd, right? So they're going to have really high access to the game before everyone else in those early months, and that's about it, right? Even before EVO. Before EVO, I think everyone's going to have started to figure out how to be good at the game, what things are good, what things are bad, what things are gimmicky, and like how to play their characters more efficiently. It doesn't take that long anymore because of the fact that we're not barred to the arcades and don't have internet. Like, we have internet, we have all these resources, we have Reddit, we have Twitter, we have Fighting Game Discords, we have YouTube. Like, there's so much knowledge all over the place. So, like, basically just trying to remove knowledge from the hands of the players by saying, if you play our game unauthorized, it breaks the code of conduct for Capcom Pro Tour, which it is. That's fair, right? But actually actively saying you're going to go after these people is really stupid. Don't you want to see the highest level of competition at your games? I think you do. I think you don't want to see Jimmy Two Shoes literally just throwing Hadokens and fireballs and Shoryus, and that's it, and winning a tournament because no one knows what they're doing. Surely that's literally impossible in this day and age, right? But if we were in the non-information age, that is how some really strong top players looked back in the day, because that's all they needed, because no one knew what was going on at all. I don't think that they're actually going to do anything about people who have been playing the crack before, but I think they will now. I think that even if you showed before that you'd been playing the crack, you're probably fine. They're not going to go out of your way to find you and tell you can't compete. But if you do it now and you show off stuff in the crack, you are cooked. So don't do it. I'm of the mindset and the competitive spirit that we shouldn't stop people from gaining more knowledge in a game and becoming more optimal and better at said game, right? I think when set releases come out for Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh, when we see preview cards, we immediately jump on those preview cards. There's a website, or not a website, an application. I don't know if I have it on my computer. But I got to keep that open. Let's go here. Let me see if I have it. What do I got to do? Windows D? Okay, Windows D. Project Ignis Edo Pro. This thing's really cool. So let me go back. So even before cards are out, this server, this client, they start to put things in here that aren't even out yet. All these cards aren't loaded in, right? But like, so we don't have we don't have Baromet. Neither does this game. I don't think I've updated it. I haven't updated it, so I'm losing points here trying to show you guys something. But even not even just in this, right? Even in something like Dueling Book or whatever, right? They try to get those cards and their effects on the website as fast as possible so people can play test those decks before they even come to the TCG. They're out in the OCG because they come out in the OCG first, just as games just come out in the Japanese arcades first. That's normal, right? So let's just go to Dueling Book. Fuck. Do it this way. There's tons of cards that I play tested way before they were ever out in the TCG without knowing what the release date was going to be, just so I would understand how they would work when they came to the TCG. Okay, cool. I don't have to do my password knowledge. The Deck Constructor. Traptrix is my main deck. I don't think this card is technically out yet. It's not. This card's not out yet. This card right here. But I've already been using it. I've already been playing around with it. I've already been using it in like friend duels and like non-official tournament sanctioned style duels, not ranked, because ranked you can't use OCG cards. At least TCG ranked you can't use OCG cards, and it goes by the TCG ban list, right? So this card is not legal, which means it can't use it. I've already learned what you're supposed to use this card for, what this card is good for in this deck, if this card is optimal in this deck. But I haven't put it in here yet because this is an actual official tournament or an official like ranked list. That's what this is, right? If I was trying to go for something to learn more about the OCG cards, this would absolutely be in here, but I've already used it. Right, there's tons of cards. The new Super Heavy Samurai support, not officially out in the West, but do you know how many people have already labbed combos for the new Super Heavy support? I've already figured out that this deck could be one of the best decks in the current format. Do you know how that happens? That happens because they don't try to stop you from using and playing with OCG cards and proxies to figure out what's going to be good before it comes out. They don't stop that in Yu-Gi-Oh! They don't stop that in any card game. They want knowledge to flow, because knowledge flowing means that everyone is getting better and everyone is showing the most optimal versions of their game. That's what they want. That's what we want. That's what spectators want. There's no reason to penalize anyone for getting game feel for a game that is not out yet because you put out a beta and did not know how to keep it secure. It's your fault, Capcom. If your beta was secured properly, that would not have happened. So because you put out a beta, because it was unsecure, people are grinding that crack, and they're going to be really good for the first couple weeks, and they're going to teach everyone else how to be really good just by showing shit off. Not by actually winning anything. A lot of them might not win anything. People who break street date and get the game a week early, are they penalized? Absolutely not, because those copies are out in the wild, and they bought it from some mom and pop shop, or some Walmart, or some Target who sold it to them early. The game is not officially out, but they're not penalized. You put out this beta, they should not be penalized. So, that's my opinion. Of course, a lot of people have other opinions and different, like, they want different recourse for people who are playing the crack. Maybe they don't want them to be able to compete for the first year of the Capcom Pro Tour. Maybe they are fine with it. Maybe they think they should all start in losers bracket, something silly like that. Have to fight it out among the other sharks, and all the people who are very new at the game will be, you know... Wait. I'm trying to read this. Maintain fairness and competitive integrity in our competitions. I take that... Wait. I take that to mean the full Final 18 build just ain't different from an 8-month-old build with 8 characters? That's funny. That's a good comment. I like that comment a lot. This Godfist guy, maintain fairness and competitive integrity in our competitions. I don't know what he meant by completions. I take that to mean the final build with 18 characters just ain't that different than the 8-month-old build with 8 characters in the beta build. Noted. I don't know if that's entirely true, but it might not be. I think they probably already understand and know a lot of what the characters should be doing and want to be doing. And that's fine. Right, but those characters are still... The other characters are still undiscovered. It's not like we got access to the full 18 character roster or anything. There's still a lot of stuff going on that we don't know about. it takes years to fully optimize and develop these games. Even with all of the knowledge that we gain early, there's so much stuff that happens, and there's balance patches now. This isn't the days of you learn everything about a game in the first couple of months, and then it just becomes optimizing it and trying not to get hit. There's so much more to these games, even though they feel like they're so much easier than old games used to be. And the reason why is because those old games had years to develop, so much time, because you just didn't know what was happening. No one really had the information to spread how to get better faster. Super Smash Bros. Melee felt stagnant for a really long time and still slippy, right? There was small eras and ages of the game getting more and more optimized, and then the giant optimizations came from Flippy, from constant online play, from constant grinding. People are constantly grinding this game right now before it's even out. But we're going to get really good competition for the game for the first couple months. And then the next bar of that, 6 months, 5 months down the road, that bar for competition will be even higher still. Like I said, I don't think that anything should happen to people who are grinding the crack. I think that I like the idea of people trying to become as good as possible at a game. It's boring for those who just want to play the game casually, but if you do, this shouldn't affect you anyway. Right? Why are you entering tournaments? You're entering tournaments for fun. You're not entering tournaments to win. Shouldn't matter. You're playing ranked. You're playing casual match. You're playing with your friends. This doesn't matter to you. It's completely irrelevant. It doesn't ruin your game experience. And if it does, then you are more competitively minded than you think, and you are just salty that you don't have access to the beta or don't want to play the beta. Anyways, this is Beanie Thuggish with a little rant video, a little talk segment, talking about how Capcom's really going to be coming after people who are playing in the beta, maybe. Signing out and saying,